Well, I am live. Welcome to another episode of Market Bus, everybody. Today, it's going to be an easy one. Markets are closed in the United States. UK markets are open, which is a little bit of fun. But yeah, it's been a crazy, crazy year. 2025 proved to be a year for the cool headed and the people that learn to manage risk. Extremely volatile at the start of the year. S&P 500 was up, which is quite impressive. I'm not gonna lie. Cryptos did take a hit, which was a bit unfortunate, just because we had such high hopes. So hopefully that comes in 2026 or later. But again, we still believe in the technology. We still believe in what it represents. So the narrative continues. If you have any questions, don't forget to put them in the chat. But I don't think anybody's going to be here because everybody's with their families. I celebrate. The big holiday for us is yesterday, actually. So we celebrated yesterday night, and it was a fun evening. Had some good dinner with some good people. So yeah, let's get us started here. But quick and easy, we're just gonna go and share the S&P 500 heat map for the year, and we can see that semiconductors were the big winners this year. Healthcare caught up at the end there, right? For the people that made that trade at the end, financials doing really good, capital markets doing really good. Even industrials are starting to find their footing. We are seeing some renewed euphoria in that sector with Caterpillar 60%, GE 89%, GE Vernova almost 300%, right? Oh no, sorry, 102%. I read that wrong. My bad. Walmart was up 23%, and Costco actually didn't manage to get anywhere this year. Kind of sad because I like the stock. I still hold it and I believe in them massively, but their business model is going to take a little bit more to adapt. Hopefully, AI does help sort of all of these old companies become more efficient and more productive. We're going to have to see. Software took a hit this year, which actually one of my predictions for this year was that we were going to see the AI plays start to pick up more and more. And we did see some of that. Some of the winners that we saw was Google and Palantir seeing massive gains this year, right? And the funny thing was that we called almost the Google bottom, as the market didn't believe that they could recover after the tariffs, the April tariffs from Trump. Trump didn't fail to create that volatility that we were all expecting. It was a fantastic year if you were trading volatility and you kept up with the earnings and kept up with market buzz in reality. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. But yeah, AMD found a footing. Intel did amazing this year. Broadcom, Micron. Obviously, like if we look at the year, we could see some of these sort of coming down a bit. Adobe, one of the trades that we added this year, we added very recently, just before the last earnings, because we felt that the company's being overpunished here. We're gonna have to see, you know. We are planning to, well, at least I'm planning to go on the first. Every Thursday we go live, so whether it's just me or with the guys, you can always expect that there this day stream, unless something breaks in the next couple of days. The Santa rally seemed to be here. Let's have a look at the month to date. The month to date performance is a little bit across the board. I mean, utilities are taking a little bit of a hit. Anything AI related was taking a major hit. But we're seeing a very mixed picture here, right? We're seeing how Micron 21% up, Nvidia a little bit up, but Broadcom, Intel are giving back all those gains. Santa rally was mostly in financials. You know, a couple of the software plays, the Adobe play that we were talking about, ended up paying up. The Micron trade, this was a fantastic trade for those who were in it. Yeah, we entered just before the earnings as well. Managed to get really lucky. The earnings went in our favor. The AI story continues as the AI data centers continue to take everything across the board. Consumers are kind of in trouble, right? If you don't buy your computer parts right now and the AI build out continues, you're gonna be borrowing your computer from a data center in the near future. Oh, Graham is in the market. Oh, hello. Yeah. Timothy Colts, that silver and palladium trade so good this year. How you doing, Graham? How you doing? Every Thursday. Every Thursday. The problem is I can't miss one day, because if I miss one day, I'm gonna start missing more, and I can't. So next year, that's one of my goals, is just to be able to do every single Thursday, no matter what, or at least have somebody do it. I think we sort of missed the one for the eToro Summit, which we should definitely do a little bit of content on that. But I went live. I just went live in shorts. Different story. By the way, Merry Christmas. Hope you're having a very good time with family and friends and having some good food, you know. But yeah, no, I mean, like the metals are going right. It's interesting because metals should go up during a recession as sort of fears kind of go in that every other asset class is going to take a hit, but it doesn't seem to be the case. It just seems to be following the path of risk assets. I'm surprised that Bitcoin has not moved. There's just like it's like I do feel that at current levels, like the balance is kind of neutral, and we have to see how the next year sort of plays out. A lot of people are expecting that those prices to come down, so we're gonna have to wait and see, you know. But yeah, I mean, this month has been, well, Charles Schwab up 9%, Goldman 10%, Wells Fargo, even Citi is interesting because I don't know if you know the big short guy, Steve Eisman. He has a podcast and he talks about how to value banks, and he was talking about how Citi was one of the most undervalued banks based on their current metrics. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I wasn't expecting anyway, by the way. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we've seen some of the moves we've seen this month. I mean, we have seen some interest. Oh, this one I'm sad about because I wanted to enter, and I just like I forgot about it, but it was be a boring, right? Because I'm an Airbus on eToro. Merry Christmas indeed, my friend. Merry Christmas indeed. But yeah, it was. I mean, like the thing was, like we did see some green, but we saw a rotation, and that was the interesting part of this, right? We saw a rotation out of what was working throughout the year into sort of what didn't, right? And even if we go to the year, right, it's like, yeah, the Googles, the Metas, right? We do see, for example, like the healthcares took a little bit of a tumble this month, but nothing too major, right? Like it was just pretty much flat and a little bit red here. But utilities took a red, which actually surprises me because we should see the build out now, because we're seeing the thing is the way that the narrative is going in terms of AI. We are seeing sort of that slowdown in the AI infrastructure place, or maybe new data centers are not going to start getting built out, but we're still like it's a 1 to 3 year build out phase that we're going to have to see. So then the question is like, who wins and who loses? And that brings me to the part that is like, what are the biggest winners this year? And some of the biggest winners for me have been Fluence. I actually did an options trade on them, and they've just I entered at $7, which was insane. You know, they've just been sort of getting plumped. Like, yeah, like I think it was somewhere around here even, because I did see them come back down, and then I should have purchased more. But this was like $1,000, like 1,000% trade on Fluence and options. This was a fun trade for me. First Solar, another company that I truly liked after doing a little bit of research. I do think that they're poised to take advantage of the energy build out that we're seeing. I think this company touched, like after the April lows, like it was like after the April lows, we saw some crazy hits on them, you know. And it was interesting because the narrative was that Trump wanted to hurt solar and wind, but the reality was like it was mostly targeted to wind. So whenever you heard the conversation, it was like renewables wins, but solar he didn't touch too much on, and the tariffs actually helped him out a little bit, and the big beautiful bill and all of these different things kind of helped the development of First Solar. And I just don't think that this stops, right? They did take a recent hit because of interest rates. They're very interest rate sensitive because it's just borrow money in order to increase production, and then you pay it off as time goes by. But as the energy need becomes more and more, I do believe that they're going to be outperforming us. When Fluence is a battery company, so they go hand in hand. So this is sort of like the renewable energy play that I'm kind of taking advantage of right now. I don't know how long it can go for. I'm very bullish on them for sure. I bought them at 120, 140. It was super interesting just because we saw the narrative change, and it was just like, well, if we need energy and you need energy in a very particular place, what are you gonna do? Solar. Micron, very interesting trade as well. Definitely recommend people to look at this into the new year. I mean, it's already up so much this year. I mean, we're talking about year to date is sitting at very high levels, but like the return is impressive. But this was a company like because of the cyclicality of semiconductors, people didn't believe too much on the stock, and then all of a sudden this stock, but it's the forward P of the stock right now is sitting at 7, which in 7 years you would pay it off. I mean, if you think that the AI build that is going to last at least 3 or 4, you get your investment back really quickly. So you're gonna have to see on this. That was the biggest winner, one of the biggest winners. And then Google, we ended up entering like a couple, like it was like I believed just before the first earnings blowout. So this was the November earnings. Okay, so it was somewhere around here, the 180s, 190. Yeah, I mean, I just didn't believe the narrative and the story that the market was giving. I think they missed on search, and the market spooked out after April, and they didn't want to give them the valuation. But then I just started bam, 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 increasing my position big. This earnings, I remember them to be like I did. I entered pretty decisively, so that was scary. Some of the losers, man, because everybody loses money. Mara, which I'm still super surprised at the fact that this stock is getting pummeled the way that it is. I mean, they are in the crossfire of 2 major narratives, and they are in the crossfire of the data center narrative, which is taking a major hit right now, but also in the crossfires of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, right? They're a crypto miner, and obviously they hold a lot of Bitcoin in their balance sheet, so they've taken a major hit here. Their forward PE, they're expecting to lose money next year. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, but right, if we don't want to build out more data centers and you need a place to put the current infrastructure that you have, I do think that this company is likely to go up. I mean, we were up for a little while. I don't know if it was greed. I don't know if it was a lack of, like, I didn't want to sell it in a sense, but I mean, we were up at some point, right? Like when it was like reaching the 24, 25, but I just expect this company to continue to go up. But they're not announcing anything major. They're not announcing any big partnerships, which could be good for now, but again, it's also bad. When cryptocurrency prices were actually pumping and going crazy, the stock wasn't moving at all. I guess they were adding the risk premium for that, but again, they've done well in the last couple of earnings, and they've met expectations quite substantially, so I'm hoping that to continue into the future. I don't think that this is a company that collapses. They've already bought the amount that they need. It's worth $3 billion right now, and they hold around almost $4 billion worth of Bitcoin, so I don't know. I like the stock. But again, I've taken a hit on them. I've taken a massive trend from 24 all the way to 9. Again, investing takes risk. Like we are risk managers, and I'm okay with putting 5% of my portfolio into a company like this that can potentially either double or potentially take a hit. It's not going to break my bank. It's also part of my cryptocurrency position as well. So some of the alts, I mean, we've seen Solana. I don't even know if I can go into Solana here. Yeah, again. Oh, that's dangerous. There's a Solana 2x Solana ETF into 2026. Maybe that's a play. No financial advice, but some of the losers. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look and let's see what's actually not paying the bills. Well, actually, I bought a little bit of eToro and it's been coming down again. I do believe them to do very well into 2026, and as the company continues to sort of like they're doing well, and they've missed earnings per share, which I'm not surprised about because they're so young still. But again, revenue continues to go up, their assets under management continues to go up, and the community is actually working on very interesting projects. So I like it. Let's have a look. Let me have a look at what else moved up and down. Like in my personal portfolios, it was like a whole different story just because You make mistakes buying and selling and not getting out of position. Some of them are meant to. One of the big lessons that I learned this year was that you have to understand whether a position is an investment or is it a trade, right? Are you trading based on a certain number of parameters, and when those parameters change, you have to change your sort of stance on it, right? Or are you making a long-term investment that matters there? So something to pay attention to as well. Bitcoin and Ethereum, I mean, they've recovered a little bit. I was gonna say, man, I looked my average open on Bitcoin was at 95K, and it's sitting. I thought that was the price, and I was like, wow, it pumped, but it didn't. 87K. I mean, we're holding pretty strong at that level, so it'll be interesting to see how the new year and the rebalancing helps out. Because we do our base case scenario for the start of the year is that we're going to see a major rebalancing going into this. So something to pay attention to as well. I mean, so we made some good trades. That Fiverr trade still haunts me to this day. you know, but I do believe in them. I think AI is going to actually allow them to make more sales, as many old people and many business owners are not going to want to adopt AI. They just want to pay somebody to figure that out. And Fiverr is very well poised to take advantage of it. But again, that's a long-term trade. I said I wasn't going to sell it ever, so I'm never going to sell Fiverr. And it's such a small part of my portfolio that I don't really care. Everybody that copies me has to copy it just because, but I do believe in the company long term. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out, because I just see more and more people going into the gig economy in that sense. But yeah, the cryptocurrency plays, I was expecting a bounce, didn't see it happen. Some of the trades that I should have sold at higher levels, SMCI ended up touching, and that was a trade for me, and I just didn't get out of that fast enough. So yeah, understand that some positions are trades and some positions are investments, and you got to understand that, and accept it, and then treat them as such. But yeah, my top holders for next year are sitting Nvidia, Google, First Solar right now, JP Morgan, and Amazon. So I'm touching a little bit of everything. Man, I think the thing is just so I just don't like the financial wizardry that they're doing. If they're like, the thing is so some of the guys that I follow are saying, and again, take this with a kilo of salt, because I'm not fully sure on MicroStrategy, but take this with a kilo of salt, is the fact that if Micro Saylor has to sell, or he's pressured to sell in order to keep the company alive, that would be the time that you want to be buying Bitcoin, just because he's being adding a lot of liquidity to the market. He's being borrowing money and then just piling into Bitcoin. They say that he's been the one buying all of the liquidity that enters the whole market, so it's become less and less liquid, and as he stopped buying, as he stops buying, he ends up sort of creating that downward pressure, because there's just not enough people to be buying the current demand, like the current supply, sorry. So yeah, I mean, like, they say that at that time, Bitcoin will take a major hit, as he's one of the biggest buyers of Bitcoin, and then that'll be the time to purchase and start dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin again. I don't know enough. I don't know if he will sell, because the thing is like, he does have it, like, debt instruments that he can play around with in order, and he can always try to borrow more money if he has the goodwill of people, right? So many different things. I still haven't done the research. I would say next time I'll ask Timothy and Mimi, because I know that they're more intertwined with at least MicroStrategy, cryptos, and all of that stuff. So yeah, soon. But yeah, that's where it's tricky. It's tricky. Like, I think it's just like, I've been dollar cost averaging on Bitcoin and just cryptocurrency assets altogether. But then Mara might also have to sell some of their position as well. Some of the treasury holdings have to sell. I think under 75K is where the Bitcoin ETF was sitting at. So a lot of people may panic if we start seeing 75K, and that's where a lot of the risks kind of come into. So yeah. Oh man. Oh yeah. But yeah, I've been keeping a close eye on the story, but not enough to be able to give you a full prediction on it, because I'm not in it. I'm not in it. I would have to like buy at least one MicroStrategy. Like at the moment I buy one MicroStrategy stock, it would be it'd be one to tell you about. But yeah, I mean, like we did take advantage of some of the UNH, some of the Micron, some of the Robinhood even. I sold some of my Robinhood. I thought I sold it. I sold the rest, but I didn't. I held sitting at 120. I compare Robinhood to like eToro, and I just think eToro is very valuable right now. But it's difficult, right? Just because there's so much, right? So even if you go to, so I don't, yeah, like he doesn't tell you those metrics, right? But you see is like the amount of debt that there is. And then he has like a bunch of different notes, 2028, 2030, 29, 30, 31, 32. And then all this creates sort of like issues here, you know? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is more. Okay. I was going to say, I was trying to figure this chart out quickly. But I mean, they do tell you a bunch of the information, and I'm sure you can extrapolate an answer here, but I just don't, right? Like one of the things that they're saying is that he has to buy, it's funny because he has to buy Bitcoin when there is hype around it, right? So you see he's usually buying at very interesting peak levels, like, and it's usually whenever this stuff like Bitcoin starts to rally again. So that was some of the things that I was hearing, just because he needs to have that euphoria behind him in order to buy. But yeah, it's hard. It's very difficult to say at what price he would be willing to sell, right? Like he does still, like he has debt instruments, but as long as he pays and he doesn't have to go into bankruptcy. Volatility, yeah, all these different things, you know. I think, what's the year to date of the MicroStrategy? I'm actually super intrigued at this right now. MSTR, wait, MSTR. What's the year to date? Year to date is minus 45. Performance in 3 years still massive. 5 years still massive, and 10 years still massive. So, you know, that's a 7 times return. So I mean, he's still doing good. Like a lot of people forget to like have a look at the long-term trend on this, and it's obviously he's taking a massive hit right now, and it's easy to sort of like, and then look at the shares outstanding and how it's growing. He has a short flow of 10%, which is not actually that high for a company that, you know, that you're expecting to collapse soon. A lot of ownership by retail tells you a lot. Massive gross margins, but then that's so odd. Operating margin negative, but then profit margins pop. Interesting. The PE 7, but it's actually going to grow, so they're expecting a major slowdown here, right? Dang. Does feel like a bubble chart. So then the question would be, is like, when do we see sort of like coming back to the average? Like this, you see this looks at it like an interesting bubble chart, because this is how I look at Bitcoin right now. And then you see that pump, that retest, and then just we come back to the lows, and then we go back up. But again, take everything I say about crypto or any investment with a kilo of salt. Do your own research and make sure you understand what you're putting your money into, because it is your money. Like I manage my money, other people manage theirs. But yeah, I think that's it for now, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Graham, thanks so much. Happy holidays, everybody. Hope you have a good rest of the year. Hopefully no major events happens. If you see us live again, it's because an emergency has hit, and nobody wants an emergency live stream. But I'm done. I always do them because they're fun. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Happy 2025. Oh man, I want to do a rewind too. But work. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Peace.